Welcome, everyone. This is Pineleaf Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and hear LOTRO players. And this week we have with us Terry Adwin,
Hi, hi.
Cinders,
I'm back.
Werindus,
Hello, everyone.
Calabathian,
Yo.
Arendus,
Hey, everybody.
and there may even be a vampire lurking around somewhere.
Again? Man, we're infested. No, I'm just kidding.
Had to buy some garlic.
Coming
Yes.
up on that time of year.
Then let's head into our show for today, where we actually have some game news that is not a small set of patch notes. And that is that we have received a teaser trailer for Update 28, or I should say the next expansion, which is War of the Three Peaks. That is right. I was not expecting War of the Three Peaks to be an expansion. I don't think anyone here expecting War of the Three Peaks to be an expansion.
No?
Oh, it was coming.
Yeah,
Mhm.
now we knew that Gundabad was coming in 2021, but Update 28, which is expected in October, is going to be a small expansion. And
Yeah,
this,
everything we'd heard about this thing did not suggest expansion to me, so I was very surprised.
no, I know everyone's a little surprised about this one. And this is, of course, the region above the wells of Langflood and about the size of where dragons dwell, which is the Ironfold region, which we did a while back, the Scarhold area. And it will come with a new 6-player and a new player instance in there. So it means it will ship with the 6-player instance and the raid, which is very different from how things have been recently, where usually you've had to wait a couple. Now, they did say that the 6-player instance is expected to ship with only the first 3 tiers, with the later tiers coming afterwards, and that the raid will come with I think they're expecting the first 2 tiers. I don't think that's been 100% settled yet. And then, of course, the rest of them following later on after that. And instead of 3-player instances this time around, we are going to have a new system called the mission system, which are going to have 1 to 2 players, and that these missions are going to be scalable from 20 to 130. And it's going to be about the size of 2 to 3 quests and content-wise. Now, there's a question exactly what these are going to be. We don't know. Squirrel is thinking that maybe they're about the size of resource instances, but they have said nothing about this yet. Though, we are going to be getting our first sneak peek of Update 28. Is expected next week, assuming, of course, all goes well and nothing catastrophic happens. And then we expect the first build for Bulwer to come out next week, and that we could have a look at it. What is going to be on Bulwer, we don't know yet. Most likely, it'll be the new region, almost certain. The raid, unlikely. But I'm hoping there'll also be some missions in there, so we can at least have some idea of how the mission system works and all of that. But right now, the only thing that I'm pretty certain is going to be in there will be the new region, because that's usually the first thing to hit Bulwer when we do get onto Bulwer.
Do you know what I was most excited about for this little video?
Yeah.
War pigs.
Yes. If you look at that snapshot that they have that Squirrel posted, it kind of looks like Batman on a warhog.
It really looks like war pigs. I'm super excited for war pigs. I totally think we need war pig mounts.
No,
I
can't believe we
but now
get
I
war
look
pigs
at it,
before
yeah,
war
it
goes.
does look like a war pig. I guess I assumed it was a warg.
No,
But that
That's not a-
snout is definitely a pig snout.
that is a pig. It's got
it's got carnivorous sharp teeth, but it's a pig. And that's Batman. I swear that's Batman.
That's a dwarf.
Batman's a dwarf?
No, which is why it's not Batman, because that's too short to be Batman. It's a dwarf.
Or the pig's really, really big.
Short to be Batman.
Must be
Or a
tall to
stormtrooper, for
Batman.
that matter.
That's what I was thinking, Gware.
Just can't believe we'd get war pigs before we got war goats.
Where are you going to ride a goat into battle? You can barely ride them around Moria.
Yes, but that's Moria.
Goat.
That's Moria. You can't.
All the dwarves.
Everything in Moria is weird.
War goats.
Well, they could
No,
be
no,
using
no,
this as a pre-goat thing. They want to see how this goes over, and if there's enough whatever for goats, then they'll bring in goats
We
next.
got elk mounts. We should totally get war pigs.
Okay.
Look, last time
war
we
pigs
got
would be cool.
poodle wargs, and now we've got war pigs. You can ride your war pig to fight poodle wargs. Dressed as Batman.
Dressed as
And if you have a mini with you, you have a bard.
And they can dress as Robin.
Exactly. Oh, that would be so funny to see. Okay, if anybody does that, we need pictures.
Please.
Please, pictures.
pictures of someone dressed as Batman and Robin
Riding a war
war
pig.
pig.
War
running
pigs.
your war pigs. Okay.
I mean, we have
To fight
Mario
poodle
and
wars.
Luigi.
I think I saw a Hobbit dressed as the Flash once.
Do the
That's
Bat Pig,
awesome.
Robin.
There's someone that runs around Landerball that has a pretty good take on Captain America the best she can, anyway.
Wait, does this person have America's bottom?
Mary Rose in the chat says, if War Pig is going to be real, my Hobbit will need to never say bacon near the War Pig. I agree. Bad things could happen.
No, my war pig when I get there is going to be called Bacon.
No, that's what you call the war pig. Is bacon.
Fault name, Bacon. Everybody's riding around on Bacon. Which mount are you riding today? Bacon.
It's Bacon!
Great.
Luanori says, I'd like to point out that the teaser trailer shot of the war pig makes it look like a normal mount type and not a pig-shaped war steed.
Yes. Well,
That is true.
okay,
All
so
the war
not a war pig. Pig pants.
Pig pants, like horse pants.
What'd you call me? That is great.
Either way, we're getting some kind of pig mount, and it looks awesome.
Some sort of
I just
pig.
hope it comes with all of the variety of cosmetics that all of the others do.
If they're smart, they
No.
will lock it behind the ultimate purchase so that everybody has to buy that one.
Well, yeah, speaking of ultimate purchase, yes, like many other expansions, there are going to be 3 versions of this. There is going to be the base version, which is going to cost $20. The collector's version, which is going to cost $60. And the ultimate version, which is going to be $100. And of course, when I say $100, I mean retailer's version of $100, which is $99.
Yeah.
What's interesting, though, is that this is less than what all of the Minas Morgul bundles were.
Well, of
yeah,
course, because it's a smaller one.
Smaller.
Right. That's a good distinction for them to make. I think that was a good thing.
Yeah.
But Mordor and Minas Morgul, the ultimate are $99, and it's much, much bigger. But this one is much smaller, but the same price, right?
No.
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 The ultimate bundles for Minas Morgul and Mordor were both $130.
Okay.
At least from the page that I saw earlier.
Okay. It's been a while since I bought my Mordor, so.
Yeah.
No, I had to
Can-
double check, so no worries.
What was collectors on those?
Collectors were about 80, so it's about $20 less, and the base edition is half. Minas Morgul was at 40.
Yeah. All right. So, all right. Actually, that makes sense. So it's about the base and the collectors seem to be both about $20 less than what the Minas Morgul ones were, and the ultimate. Then you said
It's
sounds
about
like
30 less.
about 30 less. All right, that sounds about right then. And as for what else is in store, we have no idea.
Be prepared for anything, because if they're giving us war pigs, it could be anything.
We don't. Yeah, but was that a PC or an NPC writing the war
Yeah,
pig?
we don't actually know if we're getting war pigs. It's probably another cinematic, and they're just teasing it. But it would still be really cool.
Or conversely, speaking of Moria, maybe it's just the stable mounts up there. As opposed to drunken goats trying to fling you off and get to ride a war pig.
You know what? So long as they have better pathing, I would be okay with that, because I have definitely been on a goat that dropped me
Well,
to
it
my
would be
death.
really hard to have worse pathing.
Well, there's a point with that.
I mean, the pathing in Moria is pretty much bottom of the barrel. I don't think you can get worse.
The devs
You
must,
mean bottom of the
whichever dev set up the pathing in Moria had to have been drunk when they did it. Like, I'm serious. They had to be like just like 3 sheets to the wind. They couldn't even see straight because the goats can't.
Part of the problem is that Moria's changed since it first came in. So some of the pathing hooks have been altered, which I think is what throws the goats off. Not to mention, I heard at one point that stable goats weren't even a thing when Moria first came out. So we should really just be lucky that we have them.
No, there were always stable goats as far as I knew in Moria.
If they
I'm
didn't
pretty-
exist, that would have been a huge pain in the butt.
It's still a pain in the butt, even
Lord
Some
Norton says
people
no,
get
they've
worse
always
in
been
the butt.
bad.
Yeah. Oh well. I guess I tend to ignore the pathing around with I'm going through Moria, just probably for my sanity.
Yeah,
My
it was
brain will break if I focus too much on it.
Yeah, I can't actually watch my character ride a stable goat. I have to get up and walk away.
Yeah, that
When you
seems
get
like a
motion
case.
sick watching yourself,
I'm
watching your character
serious.
ride through Moria makes you motion sick.
Yeah.
The other way to
Mm.
handle it is to zoom clear out as far as you can, and then just like overhead view. That's not nearly as sickening as being.
But sometimes I'll just pull up the map so you don't really see the route. You just kind of see how the goat is going.
Arrow goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my preferred way to watch myself travel through Moria.
Can't get sick in Moria if you're not in Moria. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes, I also take that tactic.
Yeah.
Great one. I think I've only had one character play through Moria, and that was because I was playing it with Terry, or not with Terry, with Pineleaf and Sands.
Now, one more thing to add concerning Update 28. While it is an expansion, a small expansion at least, it is not going to include a level increase. So that's something to keep in mind in there. There is not going to be a level cap increase along with this update.
I think that's okay.
I think we're all okay with this.
Yeah, I have a feeling that we are. Yeah, we've had enough headaches with level cap increases.
Well, they're still working out some of the kinks in the last one that they're working on with some of the new areas.
Well, yeah, there is sort of that.
It's like let's just forget about that and increase it another 10 levels and give ourselves strokes
Even more headaches to work. Now, there's
Yeah.
probably going to be a level increase when we get to Gundabad. Now, I don't know if they've 100% decided on that yet, but I will say that would have a better chance of having a level increase with it. We will find that out in sometime in 2021.
If we manage to survive.
All I know is I hope that Gundabad is not all like Sundergrad. Please don't let it
Okay.
all be like Sundergrad.
Would you want to be like Sunigran, or would you like it to be like Moria?
I'd rather be like Moria because Moria had some like give and take on things. It wasn't just a pain the whole time.
I would like it to be a mix of Moria and Scarhold. So you've got your above the ground bits and below the ground bits.
Well, I have a
That'd be
feeling the
nice.
above the ground bits are what's coming in the War of the Three Peaks. It's the below the ground bits that are going to be with Gundabad. Okay, that's my guess. We'll find out that, I guess, at some point. Because if we're going to be fighting a war all over through the Three Peaks, what's there left above ground for us to do at Gundabad?
Yeah, but we don't know if we're actually going to be getting all the way to Gundabad. It could be warring two of the three peaks, and then the third peak is what we get to with Gundabad.
Okay, you got a point
I mean,
there.
the war is the three peaks, but we only get two of them.
We get the early parts of the war, where we're trying to besiege the first two peaks and then trying to reach the third peak. And then when you start to surround the third peak, that's what they to be continued.
It's just the first installment.
Be a continued bit.
Just the first installment. That's all.
Yeah, the first installment.
And I mean, War of the Three Peaks is easier to sell than the beginning of something we're calling the War of Three Peaks that's going to end right before Gundabad. Just saying.
Well, you do have a point with that. You do have a point with that. All right, so that is the teaser information for update 28, and we hope to have more information for you next week after the Bulwer build and see if anything's interesting in there. Maybe we'll have some idea what these missions are about.
Saving the world.
Well, there's always that possibility.
On a local level? I mean...
Saving the world,
One
one
thing at a
dwarf
time.
at a time. Or one mountain at a time. Yes.
One hallway at a time is probably more like it.
Well,
That's kind of
there's
how it
always
was
that
in
possibility.
Mordor. Or not Mordor, but Moria.
Yep, one hallway at a time.
One hallway at a time. Constantly going on there. Yes, think global, save local, as Laurie Stoutshield says. Yeah. And that's all we know about that. Please note also that there are a couple of announcements on this week, and that this is the final weekend for Farmers Fair. So if you are listening live or hearing the podcast very, very early, and you're wanting to finish things up in the Farmers Fair, then this is your time. You must do that. Also, this is a plus 25% XP weekend. And so the final weekend for double bonus points. All these other things in there. But let's head into our LOTRO Beacon, issue 175, where we have a hobbit trying to invade a serenade, it looks like.
Dancing. This hobbit is dancing to someone's serenade.
Yes.
I don't know what to think about that. It's like, you are so beautiful to me. And this hobbit's just like boogieing.
Yes. And of course, we have them all in all these subdued greens that everyone is wearing around there, and we have this hobbit in electric blue.
Well, this is Minas Tirith Midsummer.
Okay, well there is. Oh, that's right, and everything's supposed to be blue, of course.
Yeah, everything's blue.
Everything's blue. Yes.
And if there's enough thieves and burglars in the area, everything's borrowed too.
Right?
Borrowed. That's what you're going with, huh?
Uh huh.
Borrowed.
With
Yeah.
no intent to
Permanently
return.
borrowed, okay? It's permanently borrowed.
Permanently borrowed.
Borrowed without permission. It works.
Yeah.
Borrowed with no intent to return.
Let's head to our community spotlight, where we had Weatherstock today.
Yes, we did. It went over really well. If you want a good stress test for a server, I think we did a good job of it today. There were quite a lot of people at the summit. Druid's Fire was streaming it, and the lovely Ms. Eldolith was clipping out each band's performance and putting it on Druid's Fire's personal channel. That way, if there are any copyright hits for YouTube, it won't affect the LOTRO stream, the actual LOTRO official. So if anybody wants to see individual bands or were curious about them, they're over on Druid's Fire's channel, and it was a really great time. Really great time.
I remember that the time I did the stream for Weatherstock, the performance that got dinged from all the Weatherstock ones, from that one, when I put out the bands and all that, the one that got dinged was Beethoven's Fifth Symphony.
Oh, for Pete's sake. There are how many versions of that? Oh.
Pretty sure that if copyright is 90 years plus, like, after the lifetime of the person plus 10 years, or 90 years, that we're safe with Beethoven.
Well,
the idea would be that some AI thought it sounded so much like a recording that has a copyright that they dinged it for it. Which is crazy.
Yes. They thought, I believe it was the Boston Symphony's version that it flagged it for.
There's a pibgorn going off in there. This is not the Boston Symphony. Since when is there a bagpipe?
Yeah, and of course, this performance was several years before they had fiddles in the game. So I don't know how it sounded anything like anything ever that came out of the Boston Symphony. That was just the craziest one.
The Boston Symphony is in hard times. We're going to have to cut the entire string section and only have the horns and the drums and the winds.
Yes. And we also had the Lights of Valor on Creek Hall also had their 10th anniversary today. And actually, that's going on right now at the Breland Festival grounds as we are recording this, or at least it started an hour ago. I presume it's still going on. And the dulcet tones.
None of us are there.
Yeah.
We're all here.
Yes, we're all here. So how do we know? The Dulcet Tones are celebrating their 5th anniversary on September 13th, which is tomorrow, on Crick Hollow.
And Crick Hollow is a happening place for the next day and a half.
Yeah. And the organizers on the 11th annual Month of the Chickens would like to thank you. And you could click on the link to read about how the event went. For the Kin Hall, Everlasting Hope are celebrating their 10th anniversary on Evernight this month, and they're always happy to welcome new members to the ranks. Get in touch with White Doom, Lego Joe, or Shenstone in-game to learn more, and congratulations on a decade. So
By
now,
the way, about the annual Month of the Chickens, if you guys have noticed in the Summer Festival, one of the things you can barter for is a golden chicken statue.
That
Mhm.
looks like it's dabbing.
It's pretty much.
Dab.
Dabbing chicken.
Yes.
Let's head to our weekly comment. Which location in Middle Earth best displays fall colors?
Mordor.
Rivendell.
Troll Jaws.
Mordor!
Well, I mean, the bloody gore.
Red is such a nice fall color.
You mean
Brown,
in a
too.
This is Halloween. This is
This is
Halloween.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Ah, the bloody gore.
I vote Rivendell.
You vote for Rivendell, all right. Well, I was going to say Troll Shawls. I guess Rivendell's connected to the Troll Shawl, so I guess that sort of almost goes together.
Yeah,
I
we
think
would
Ware
say
said it too.
yeah, we would
Yeah, I
say
vote for
Lothlorien,
Troll
but Lothlorien is literally called the Golden Wood. It's golden year round. It cheats. It is.
No,
it is
actually-
disqualified from this contest.
Actually, it's not gold all year round.
It isn't.
It turns gold in the fall, and then the leaves drop off at the spring when the new leaves come out. And the green leaves are green during the summer and spring.
Does that actually is that a function in the game that happens? Or
No,
I was gonna say,
no, no,
I
no,
thought
no,
it's
no,
just
no.
changed in the game. In the
No,
game,
no.
it is not in fall.
Keeping
ever.
in mind that the seasons in Lothlorien are elf time seasons. We wouldn't see it in the game anyway.
Ooh.
Well,
If you're going by the
maybe.
book anyway.
But
Galadriel, what season is it? It's the spring. It's been spring for the last 300 years. Yes, I know. It's particularly short this time. What?
I think my favorite comment from the forums was someone said that Moria was their answer because there's always something is always falling down there.
There is an entire deed for falling down things.
okay, so that's what we get for them saying fall instead of autumn in the question.
I mean, if we're going with the best fall color, and it's like the color that happens when you fall, that's going to be red. When you splat, which then means that it's Mordor.
Well, I would say that since you most likely don't want too much of your blood spilling out, that you're more likely to get the colors black and blue after the injury seasoned a couple of days.
Oh, well, then that would definitely be Moria because it's dark down there.
Okay.
You even get purple, so I mean.
Yes, all right. You got a point there. Anyone else have anything to say before I go to the fan site news? Then let's head over. Chickening Around has created a new comic about the Farmer's Fair. And that's chapter 33.
Yeah, I giggled at that one.
Yeah, I always have wanted to know what would happen when the pigs judged the
I love the one that's sleeping with a pie on its mind.
Although I
It's
will
not-
note, as in previous years, there are not enough drunk hobbits at the Farmer's Fair. Again. We need more drunk hobbits. Because
Took
you
me
can
about
lit-
half
you
an
can-
hour to get mine.
Oh my god, you stand there forever. Even if you're going from group to group to group, but I don't like to go from group to group because then you are missing the ones that are actually drunk. So I like to pick a group of like 5 or 6 that are close to each other and just kind of watch them talk for a while. But oh my god, it takes forever.
Or when 3 of them in the same group go at once and you have to pick one and decide which one are you going to pick that's drunk this time, and then They're not drunk.
And then
Forever
several of them say something at once, and you basically click on the wrong one because where their words are, it makes it look like this one nearest you is the one. And it's like no matter where you move, there's always one of them on top of another one for the words, and it's like you're going to click wrong, and then
My solution to that has
really
been
good
to
at
zoom out.
playing with my camera to make sure that does not happen.
Zoom out and angles so you're looking down on them, not horizontally at them.
Well,
My
you're
problem
gonna
is there's just too many sober hobbits.
it is a party, and there's a bunch of hobbits, and 75% of them are sober. This is not right. Okay?
I would say it's more like 90% of them are sober, which is really just wrong.
And there's a tavern literally right there.
Right?
The Green
Yeah.
Dragon. It's like, but nobody's going into it.
now.
Laugh if
I-
one of these times they
Yeah.
put all the drunk ones in the Green Tavern. Like you
Well,
had to
that's-
be in the Green Tavern and then everything was drunk.
That's why the barkeep has had such a terrible day. Nobody's coming in to drink.
It's a sorry day.
He's a sorry. Oh boy!
It's like, this
Now-
is not the Lone Land. You're okay.
Now, I'm just wondering if the pigs during the contest are any of them war pigs.
Depends on if you make them mad.
So make them mad.
Pinker than the one in the picture, though. The one in the picture is like all black and bristly, and these ones in the comic are nice and pink and like comic ones. I don't think
Well,
they're the same.
Okay.
Totally different breeds. I don't know.
All right.
That's my theory.
Well, they're judging pigs. They have to be domesticated.
Oh, okay. They're judging pigs. In which case,
The other ones
yes. But
wild
are they
boar.
Orwellian pigs?
I hope not.
Yes.
4 legs good, 2 legs bad.
Yes. Let's get back to the beacon then, not the bacon, where Gandalf is a grill master in our last week's episode to LOTRO Players News.
He's got his George Foreman.
Yes. And LOTRO Stream is your first stop to find LOTRO on Twitch this week. Check out shows by, let's see, Mike-Ack DK2, Balviel, and Big Ed Mustafa. And also on Twitch, Traviati in the streams, Gunman Rock Knight, Muller Yogurt does trivia, and Mythic Mark gets sunny. I'm just trying to think. A channel called Traviati streaming Gunman Rock Knight. I don't know. And over at YouTube, and Gamolio Dan Hunts and Gamer Penny Quests and Louis 7 Deeds. And then let's look at our screenshot of the week, where it looks like we have some fishing going on, where Sela goes fishing in our screenshot of the week.
We were fishing last time too, weren't we?
Yeah, I think I remember something about fishing last time.
And there was like lightning, and it was like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? You're being so
this is
unsafe.
another dangerous location to fish because this water is lethal.
Yes, this
You gotta
isn't
be careful
exactly
not
the
to get your
warmest.
toes wet.
Yes. Though I remember, I think it was either this week or last week where Professor Olson was checking out one of the women in Wildermore, and she was not only doing ice fishing, but her legs were dangling inside the water.
Ow.
In Wildermore, yeah, that just sounds.
They're a tough breed, evidently.
Yeah.
Oh yes, it's like, wow.
I don't even want to think
Do
about
not
the leg
mess
hair.
with that shield maiden.
That I don't want to think about the leg hair on that chick. I just can't do it. I just That's not
Yeah.
right.
If you have a screenshot you wish to submit, you can send it to contact@standingstonegames.com. And that is our beacon for this week. So let's head to our store sales. Terry Edwin, what's on sale this week?
Well, let's see. We have another coupon that I never use, which is for a tome of tracking with coupon code TomeTrack. I travel with pocket hunters, so I don't need tracking tomes. But for people who don't have pocket hunters, you can totally get yours now through September 17th. And no, you can get a tracking tome.
Okay.
Which is kind of like part of a pocket hunter, I guess.
Minus
I've got
the
the
witchy
finger of a
panther.
hunter in my yeah, they're pointing to all of the things that I need to track.
25% off select war steeds and mounts, riding skills, select war steed cosmetics, and movement speed buffs now through September 17th. Weirdly, it doesn't include the war steed die, I don't think, or it didn't the last time they said select cosmetics, which is really a bummer.
I think they're tying that into the select war steeds and mounts because it's just you get the cosmetics from the select mounts.
Maybe. But hey, riding skills, if you don't already have journeyman riding, now is your time to get it because it's awesome.
Speedy, speedy.
78% mount speed. 78% mount speed on all of your horse pants all of the time, and if we get pig pants, it'll be 78% speed too.
Yay!
Works on your goat pants as well.
Yes, it's really nice when you get that freebie slow goat in Moria. And
Yeah,
of
the one
course
that if you don't have journeyman riding, it's 30% mount speed, and you might as well just be walking on your own.
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
Considering how drunk the goat's pathing is, it's probably safer to walk.
Well,
It's great because you get to Moria and then you're like, well, crap, I didn't stop and get a goat anywhere else in the freaking game before that. So they give you a goat, which then has 30% speed. Yay, I could walk it. But if you've got journeyman riding, then that goat is actually really handy because then it goes up to 78% speed.
I'm actually kind of waiting for them to give us an ostrich war steed, and then we go really fast. Vroom. I'm riding my ostrich. Ostrich, yes.
I'm wondering if there is. I'm trying to think. Is what kind of terrain do they have in Harad? Do they ever describe what Harad is like, or whether it would be jungle, or if it would be savanna, or if it.
Whatever it is in Harad, we're getting Moomox. I swear, we're going to get Moomox. Maybe mini pygmy Moomox, so they're not quite as big. They're only the size of an actual elephant rather than an elephant dragon hybrid or something. But
Well, at least one advantage of elephant mounts is that there's actual historical evidence of people actually using them.
Oh, yes.
Yes, wasn't there one guy who took them over, I think it was the Alps? And
Well,
took everybody by surprise? Yeah.
Hannibal did not succeed.
Yeah.
You didn't have skis for the elephants.
Well, yeah, but that's... Yes, elephants are... Well, elephants have been used in warfare before, because that's why he was bringing to them. He was hoping to bring some war elephants with him. But yes, there are documented cases of war elephants being used by various peoples. And in fact, for example, chess, what we now call the bishop was representing war elephants.
Really?
Yeah, because those are the arms of battle. You had the infantry men in front, the pawns, and of course you have the king and usually they call it the minister in the early versions. Now all that's been designated the queen. So you had the king and the king's main advisor there, and then beside them would be the elephants. Then next you would have the horse riders, and then at the end you have the chariots.
Did it have a little elephant head and trunk.
You'd have to see a pretty early chess set for that. Actually, I guess maybe if you check I wonder what the pieces look like for let's see, I think it's Thai chess, because I think they might still call them elephants there, and see what they shape theirs like for their chess sets.
There's your Pinepedia lesson for the day, guys.
Yeah.
I thought that in the chat you had put pineapple for the win, and I was like, what does that have to do
No,
with anything?
Pinepedia for the win.
So it probably would depend on what the consumer that they were marketing it to, because the Google search, it looks like a standard one, pretty much. Which might be because they are planning to ship them to countries that would not be expecting an elephant.
Nobody expects the Spanish elephant Inquisition.
Just saying, it probably has to do with the intended audience on how they carve them
Well, there
or
is
task them.
that. So yeah, that is probably the case where they have changed, and also there's the influence of Western chess on probably the looks of the pieces for many other countries also, perhaps.
Especially since that whole colonialism thing happened, and you know what? I'm not getting into that because
Yeah.
Real influence is a real deal. Yeah, I'm not seeing.
Yeah, but I think it's also that very often a stylized look that they had to them, where you know how you have the slash that's in the bishop's hat on a chess piece.
Mhm.
I was given the impression that in some sets that was originally intended to look like represent the trunk of the elephant, and then someone thought it looked like a mitre, and so that's why when the game was brought up in Spain, they started to think of it as a bishop instead of as an elephant.
You know what?
What?
I can't see that.
Well,
That's an elephant trunk. No, it's not. Are you
well,
high? You're taking too many opiates.
perhaps that story is a bit apocryphal, so or a lot apocryphal.
Oh, I found there's a Mandarin chess set that depicts the elephants, but the elephant is carved as a rook, so clear out on the far end, with what looks like a horse to the interior.
Yeah, which is
So it probably depends on marketing more than anything else at this point in time.
Yeah,
Whereas
most likely.
By the way, congratulations on getting Pineleaf really far off track. This happens very, very rarely. Usually he's the one trying to hold us all to task. He's so far off track right now. It's hilarious.
Yeah, Arenas warns everybody that make sure you're taking notes because there will be a test on this later. It will be graded, and it's for one quarter of your grade.
Welcome to Pineleaf Academy, everyone. Name tags on the left.
All right, let's head on to our new player question for this week, where
you skipped our sponsor.
Oh,
did.
Well, we didn't have the section, so the section got skipped. I guess I thought the sponsor got skipped because they had nothing to sponsor, right? All right. Yes, our sponsor this week. Our sponsor for the new player question this week is a certain Dwarvish calendar project.
3 days left, folks.
3 days.
3 days.
3 days from the recording. So if you're hearing this on the podcast when it drops Monday morning, rush to Kickstarter and help the Dwarf Scholar out.
Whether you like partially naked dwarves or not. Everybody needs a little help in these hard times.
Well, in all fairness, you can pledge without a reward. You don't need to get
That's true.
You don't have to get the calendar. Or if you know somebody who loves dwarves, you can always get the calendar and start your Christmas shopping early.
Yes.
Well, if this,
Birthdays?
at the pace this mail is probably going to be going this fall, it might be a good idea to get it started early.
Hmm.
And they do have a digital version of it, so you can totally just get the digital version, and then you don't have to worry about shipping it through the mail.
Yes, but then you get put on so many watch lists because you're having to print this out. I mean,
You don't have to print it out.
well, then how are you going to use it and enjoy it? It's on your computer. You're still going to be put on watch lists.
I mean, let's think
Yes.
about how many hours we spend in front of our computer now. I'm sure there would be a use for a digital one.
Now let's head to the new player question, where it looks like we have some Weatherstock etiquette.
Yeah. So this is the time of year where I always ask for the refresher from Terry on how to participate in concerts in a polite fashion. And so, since I'm here today, I'm asking, what is the concert etiquette, Terry?
Behave yourself.
What does it look like to behave yourself?
No mountain snow pats. Try to limit cloaks. Don't be a jerk. Keep your hands and arms to yourselves, unless you're waving for a tanky vendor.
Keep your clothes on.
Keep your spammy AOE things to yourselves,
including runestones.
Especially runestones.
Your runestones don't need to be out to hear the bands. They're okay. We give them names, but we don't have to treat them like our children.
Weatherstock is one of the reasons why Runekeeper stuff has been nerfed in the past, because one of the heals used to heal like all of everybody in the area, and they actually gave it a target limit because somebody dropped it at Weatherstock and froze like everybody that was there.
Yeah.
So
We can't have nice things.
Exactly.
I might add, please no fireworks. Save them till the very, 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 very end, because it really, all of the processing with all the sparks and the effects, they're cool as all get out in game, but it really can cause a lot of lag for the musicians.
And Lunor mentions no forced emotes, which is also good.
They never got around to making that a serious business zone during Weatherstock. I guess they can't do that, turning it on and off.
Probably not.
You can turn it off yourself, though, in your settings.
Yes, it's the problem is that people who put on the forced emotes are the ones who are victimizing the people who don't have.
Yeah.
So rule of thumb, don't use your forced emotes.
Don't use your forced emotes. Right. I was hoping that they've found a way to turn them off for Weatherstock.
It's rude anyway.
Yeah.
Well, enforced emotes can also apply to some of the festival stuff as well. Like when people are waiting around, I've seen people use forced emotes at like the Hobbit eating contest and the keg race.
Mm-hmm.
I actually will report those people. So for anybody who does that stuff, if you happen to be caught by one of my characters doing that to me, you get a warning first, and then I will report you.
Yeah.
I don't condone that behavior at all.
Yeah. Now, Lornari also mentions to not to drag in enemies or effects from raids or anything like that. The only enemy, at least for Weatherstock, the only enemy that should be anywhere near that area are the Crabine that spawn on Weathertop. Because there's nothing we can do about that. Well, we do have the security forces who shoot them down as soon as they come up. So those should be the only enemies around, and usually they're dead before they notice that there's somebody under level 20 in the area.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, if you somehow I think there have been one or two times where people have tried to drag unreasonable monsters to some places. I think someone once brought a level 100 turtle or something like that to Bree or
I
something
think you can't.
ridiculous.
I don't think you can do that anymore. I think they've
Oh
changed.
no!
it.
Yeah, they
can't.
changed it because someone did it.
I was about to say,
I
how
I
in
actually
the
remember
world?
hearing in chat
What
one day
happened
years
today?
ago. Yeah,
What?
and I remember hearing in chat years ago that there's a something about fighting the turtle at the gate, and I was like, what turtle? They're all tiny. What are we? Why do we need everybody to run out and fight a turtle? Because I never understood where they were finding this big, massive, nasty turtle.
Oh, and the other thing too, though, to mention here is that if you decide you're going to go into a raid and pop out and bring some nasty puddles with you, you'll get reported for that too.
Yeah.
I know they did that in South Bree when, I think when Rimmercat first came out. Somebody I think did that and killed a bunch of people in the area there unexpectedly.
Repeatedly. Yep.
Yeah, not cool. Oh, it happened today, Luanori says.
They did it today too.
Well, apparently she wasn't there exactly when it happened. She thought Gorindus would know, so we don't know.
Something appeared to maybe have happened, but I'm letting the Lonely Mountain Band take care of things. I am assured that they're on whatever happened, and I prefer to just let things take their course, and we could talk about it later if something comes of it.
Okie
call.
dokie. Very well. That's an official no comment then.
Yeah. Just generally be respectful of the fact that there's other people playing the game, and that this is an occasion that celebrates the fact that there's other people playing the game. Don't be a jerk.
Yes,
Nobody
don't be a
likes
jerk.
dying.
And
There's always-
if you
some
Sorry,
people
go
who
ahead.
have really low level characters will manage to get summoned up to some of these events, like at Weatherstock. They want the Undying title just as much as you do, but they're out to just have a day of fun. And don't be a jerk. Like Terry said, don't be a jerk.
If you want the Undying title, try your best to be level 20 before you go to
Yeah.
Weatherstock, just in case there is someone that's stupid out there.
But there are also band members that are lower than that because people have ults and they don't always
Oh,
bother to
yes,
level
that's
them up.
right. It bans from other servers where they have very little time sometimes to do stuff
So-
on Landrival, and half the time they're on Landrival, they're playing music instead of...
Stop
Yeah.
being a jerk.
Yes.
Well, it is
And-
worth noting that events like this are encouraged and supported by our community manager, Cordovan, and the Standing Stone devs in general. So when stuff like this happens, it does get reported higher up the chain, and you can get punished for it. And there are consequences for being a jerk at something like this. So mind your P's and Q's.
I'm
And
not sure
have a
that
good
he
time.
had. I'm not sure if he had already arrived when it happened or he arrived right after. But Cordovan was there, so
Yeah, he was there
And they're
on an
streaming it
admin
on the
account.
LOTRO channel. There's all kinds of documentation.
Yeah.
It used to be like back in the early days when there wasn't the kind of relationship the players have with, or feel like we have with our devs now. Stuff like this would happen and nothing would ever kind of really come of it because. Anyway, we have a really great community manager. We have really great Standing Stone devs and staff. So they care about the community a lot. And they show it by showing appreciation and letting us do stuff like this, like streaming on LOTRO Stream and making sure that the beacon comes out with the community events and all of that. So yes, they're going to have the back of people who organize these big events, especially something like Weatherstock, which has been going on since the first year the game was.
Since the
game's
first
been up
year the music system was available.
Yeah, since the first year of the music, because the game's been up for 13 years. This is Weatherstock 12, okay?
Yeah.
So, this is a long-running event. It's huge. It's really fantastic, and Yeah, so general concert etiquette is to go and have fun and don't be a jerk. Don't go there hoping to wreck things for everybody or just show everybody how much of a pain in the butt you can be. And if something happens and somebody is rude to you, make sure you know who you can report that to. Either follow the procedures to just do the report in game, which is very simple, or tell. They usually do a pretty good job of pointing out throughout the event like who you can contact if there's a problem.
Also, if you're new and you're like, oh, hey, let's do this because it looks like fun, because you don't know that your cloak is going to make things a problem or your pet or something, and someone actually says, hey, you might want to do this, this, and this, put the pet up, don't do that. Don't get an attitude. Just, they're trying to inform you because you may not know. The people who are jerks are the ones that when they get told that, they don't actually do it. They continue to do it because, up your nose with a rubber hose.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Then they summon their mountain right through the band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also poor etiquette.
But if you don't know better, when you do know better, do better.
For a couple of hours.
Well, and one thing
I guess
to add on. Go ahead.
the point of that being if when we know better, we do better.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, sorry. I was just going to add, on top of everything that everyone else has said, especially don't do it now when we've had so many instances of, server instability. I know there were a lot of people who were worried that the event today may or may not happen or something might happen in the middle of it. So, just everyone wants everything to go smoothly. So don't be a jerk.
Yeah, because just last night we were having server issues.
Mm.
Yeah, thank goodness they stayed up and reasonable today. Anything to add before we head on to our weekend LOTRO?
There are 2 links in the show notes. If you check out the show notes on the website later, we've got a link to the LOTRO stream channel on Twitch, along with Druid's Fire's channels on Twitch. So if you want to see the videos of Weatherstock, you can go there and find them there.
Luanori wants to also point out, on the other side of things, attendees at Weatherstock specifically should be tolerant of the odd lobby who may not be aware of the event and just ride up to finish quest. Surprise!
Yeah, because
Story.
Well, and put
I
yourself in
don't-
their shoes,
Yeah.
like you're questing, you have no idea what's going on, and suddenly you come across however many players ring around, people playing music, and you're like, I
There
don't
was-
know what's going on.
There was a guy at the campfire, and he told me to come up here and check out what was going on. I have no idea.
there's that's the problem because of Weatherstock, because they have to turn off layering, I guess, in order to get it to work. So if they turn off layering, then it kills. The one advantage of layering is if they had a way that if you had the quest that required you to go up to Weathertop, that you would be put into a different layer, and that everyone else who doesn't have the quest would be put into the Weatherstock layer, it would be great. But unfortunately, I don't think they quite have the tech to do that. And if you wanted to,
What if they were to run Weatherstock like they do those instances where you are playing as somebody else, but instead of playing as somebody else, you're playing as yourself, but you're going in, because those can hold like 200 people. But if they were expanded to accommodate however many people.
Weatherstock is session play. Trust me, as somebody who performed there today, it kind of felt like session play anyway. That seemed kind of like,
that might be.
What am I doing? Why are we doing this again? No, it was great.
Yeah, Weatherstock generally has more than 200 people at it.
Well, that's why I was thinking if they had a way to expand how much the session play would accommodate for Weatherstock, and it was a specific session play that came live once every year, kind of like the festivals do.
Maybe it would be
That'd be
easier to
kinda
flip it and make the people doing the quest have a session.
That could
Actually,
also
what would
work.
be easier is, we could do Gandalf session play.
Everybody's up there as Gandalf.
Stand up there scratching on a rock.
Scout and just finding this rock and a bunch of birds. You get a session play where you are Gandalf and you're up there and you get to call lightning down on the Naz. That would be awesome.
That would be amazing. That would be so much better than the other way too, because like when you're just learning your character, like in those first 20 levels, and you finally get there, like the first, I think 3 times I tried it, I kept dying because I didn't know my skill rotation all that well, and I was having a hard time managing mobs and stuff. Like, yeah. I think that it would be awesome to be Gandalf, especially if it was like a one lightning strike and you were done. It just killed everything in the area.
That might also help with some of the timeline issues that happen right around there, which is ironic that you mentioned this as session play, since it's the reason why there is no chapter for Morkindir at this time, because I've hit this problem and I have to figure out what he's doing for the next like 2 days in game before he gets to Ceradan, because there's
super
that little...
urgent, except
Except he has the slowest horse to get to Ceradan in the history.
Well, I mean,
because,
you can waste one of those days on travel because, it's totally a slow horse.
I can't find a horse. I've got to walk it.
No, Ceradan gives you the horse. It just happens to be the slowest horse ever.
Actually, I
from
think
walking
maybe
from
you
here to Ceradan.
I think maybe you need to somehow maybe change what Ceradan says and leave out him talking about the light. But then, of course, why does he send someone there and all that stuff, which is, of course, kills that entire hypothesis.
Now, just to kind of briefly explain what's going on here, in the game versus the actual story, Gandalf in the books, in the timeline for the books, on October 1st, he arrives in Bree in the evening and he gets to the pony. This is after Strider has left with the hobbits, so he misses them. That night, all of the Nazgul come through Bree. And Gandalf then later on in the story says that it took him like 2 or 3 days before he left to try to catch everyone at Weathertop. Well, he was early to Weathertop, as we see in the game. They said he was too early there. And the Nazgul, that's where the lightning is called down because of the Nazgul.
Oh, and so it took him less than a day to get to Weathertop? Because he fought at Weathertop on the 3rd.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, but that means he would have
spent
had
the
to
night
leave before
to the
then.
second. Yeah, he spent the night from the 1st to the 2nd, and then he didn't leave Bree until like October 3rd and got to Weathertop or something like that. Somebody more in the know, it's like a day or 2 or something like that. But he leaves, he gets there too early, and the reason why there are only like half the Nazgul, I think there's 5 that attack Strider and the hobbits on Weathertop afterward, is because the other 4 are chasing Gandalf. And I think it's because of that, lightning thing on top of Weathertop. But in the game, you talk to Gandalf at the pony, as you do, and he basically tells you at that time, you can either go east or north, but this is your job. Good luck and farewell. I can't help you. And then he basically says you'll need to go to Ceradan to find Radagast the Brown when you're going to the east. And when you ride off to Ceradan, when you get to Ceradan and his cabin, he basically is like, you basically at some point say, I'm after Radagast the Brown. Well, Ceradan tells you Radagast the Brown, he left not long ago to go to Weathertop because he said he saw lightning there and he wanted to investigate. So in between you being told by Gandalf to go to Ceradan and actually getting to Ceradan is when Gandalf makes it to Weathertop and calls down the lightning. But there's no sense of time passing in between those, and it's at least a day or 2 before Gandalf actually does the thing. So you're sitting there going, what are you doing for this little bit of time here? It's like, okay, it's of the utmost importance. You must do this, and I charge you with helping to save the world. Either go north or east. Good luck. By the way, you'll want to go to Ceradan to find Radagast the Brown.
All right. Okay. So
and then in the end, it's like, okay, so I guess I'll just, don't know, get drunk.
I don't know.
What are we doing?
All right, so this is it. See, so Aragorn leaves Bree on September 30th. Now, strange thing is, it says Gandalf leaves Bree on October 1st. So Gandalf spent very little time in Bree then. If he left the day that he arrived, it doesn't say when Gandalf arrived in Bree, but he had to arrive after. He might have arrived in the afternoon of September 30th then.
Yeah, he might have arrived just after something like that, but he spent the night at the Pony, is what it announced.
Which case, so therefore he would have left. So that means you would have run into Gandalf either early on October 1st or late on September 30th then. Yeah. And of course, the attack is on 3rd when he saw the lightning. Yeah, so it takes you 2 days in order to get to Ceradan.
It's like, I know I'm not walking that slow. So, at some point, I have to basically figure out from working there, what in the world are you doing for 2 days, boy?
Okay.
So that's why there's basically, in a nutshell, that's why there's not, well, other than the fact that we had a lot of issues this week starting my first week of back teaching, and it's all online, and I was troubleshooting and trying my hardest not to lose my sanity. But other than that, once I got to sitting down and actually trying to write the chapter, it was like, oh, hold up. What am I doing for 2 days with this person? I mean, what could he possibly do? Because it's like a pressing need to help, and yet we're just going to kick back for 2 days. So that's kind of the issue, and I'm still working on it. But again, guys, sorry there's no chapter this Saturday. There will be next Saturday because I'll be done by then.
As you resolve the fine timeline issues that were given by the LOTRO team, because time is a strange phenomena in LOTRO.
It's wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
Yes, wibbly wobbly, tiny whiny stuff.
Cinders, of course, suggested that Morkendir is whining and dining as many ladies as possible, and I'm like, no.
After what happened to his marriage,
I need to save the world, but until then, hey, want a drink? Want to hear about how I banished the ghost from South Bree? Yes, I had to tie that one to you.
Let's head into the weekend LOTRO. Terry Adwin.
Well, Axley and friends began their tour of Orthanc, both above and below. Unfortunately, I was too tired to actually finish that out. But we did go to see the wizard. We didn't sing the song, but we did go see the wizard.
Did you follow a yellow brick road?
We did not. It wasn't yellow. It was kind of brickish, but it wasn't a yellow road.
It was the yellow brick woe.
Yeah, it was.
I thought it was yellowed from all the smoke in the area.
No, it was kind of dirty, dingy, disgusting.
So that would be blackened.
We did, however, get to be some of the speediest people ever, because it turns out when you're over leveled and you kill the Surly Uruk, you don't get the speed boost. But if you're within that level and you kill the Surly Uruk, you get to go zoom really fast. So, and it stacks with leafy feet for hunters. So we had a pair of dwarves and a hobbit hunter, and we were very, very speedy running around in Orthanc. It was great. It was especially hilarious when somebody picks up the slop, because that adds yet another speed bonus, and you basically can just zip right through Orthanc and you leave everybody else in the dust, which was really funny. So we were taking turns with that. But we stopped before doing a certain session play because I just didn't have it in me to do the session play. Well, no, we did the session play and then we didn't do the stuff afterwards because you have to do more running around in Orthanc. We did do the session play and chatted about how Isengard looks so nice before Saruman happens.
Shame
and
you
then
couldn't see it in better days.
I know, right? I managed to make it to girls this week for the first time in ages. And it was Sans and Calabathian and Guarandus and me. And they were all playing Stout Axes, so I got out my Stout Axe Burglar, and we did some running around with that. I don't know that I really contributed too much to that group because Burglar, but it was fun. It's always entertaining to get out characters that I so rarely play. And then after disturbing amounts of lag, just laid the field trip. Like, it was really, really bad when I first logged in my Runekeeper. I was trying to get through Bree to the fountain so I could get my VIP boosts. And it took me 5 tries to get through the one gate over by Westbury, because I didn't try to go around the pony. I know better. I was trying to go the back way, and yeah, it was really awful. 20 minutes later, I finally arrived to where the boar fountain was, and decided I was done playing for a little bit. So then we chatted and stuff, and finally lag started to clear, so we hopped back in and actually did some things. We killed all of the things in Dwelling multiple times. I gained some levels and got some Shire rep and finished some Shire deeds, despite the fact that we're not actually in the Shire. So,
Also, didn't we actually end by trying to leap off of Midsummer? The
yes.
Prow?
Thank you for that, Mary Rose. Yes. So we took our Stout Axes to Minas Tirith Midsummer, because, you can still get there. It's empty. There's nothing really going on, but it's cool. So we decided we wanted to try jumping off the prow. So the 4 of us all went and did our leap, and my burglar did he didn't even just straight fall. He jumped like Geronimo, and I lived.
I didn't.
I don't know where exactly I landed. I landed somewhere above the stable.
I was going to say the stables downstairs, the city stables. There's like a stone awning over it. Yeah,
I landed on that.
So you can actually leap off the prow during Midsummer?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I thought you couldn't do that.
No, you have to work at it, because you have to jump over the stuff that they put in the way.
Ah. Okay.
You don't get a title or anything.
You don't get a title or anything. And you can't really do it on a worst date because the gap is too narrow to get through. Like, you barely can get the Stout Axe through it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we did it. And then jumped.
Awesome.
And yeah, we had 3 dead dwarves and a live one. It was awesome.
It's like that somebody made a comment afterward about what was it, that it was not Gondor needs your aid, and it's because apparently there are dwarves dropping from the sky.
Yeah.
Dwarves. Forget raining men. It's raining dwarves.
It's raining dwarves. Yeah, and somebody accused me of using Safe Fall, but I didn't actually use Safe Fall, because Safe Fall doesn't save you from death from a fall that will kill you normally. And really the fall should have killed me, but somehow I lived through it. Whatever. It was great. And then, yeah, my Arkenstone Runekeeper got some levels and some rep. She's getting a lot more practice with being on it's weird, finding the balance of where she needs to be. She's kind of on the outskirts of the melee. I had the most fun actually putting the Hobbit Warden on follow and then zapping all of his targets, because I used the skill target forwarding thing. So whatever target he was on, I was just kind of zapping. All I was pushing was I was going through my 1 and 2 number keys. I wasn't moving my character. I was just being towed around by a little hobbit, which was actually really entertaining to watch because my character's an elf. So, and Limerick is this hobbit with the little deer antler helm, which is really funny. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So, Calabathian, how about you?
Well, I took Celeborn festivaling, some more festival, and ugh, because it was so much running around. But yeah, I did a little bit more of the festival stuff so I could get some more like Hobbit Dance 4s and start spreading those around. I'm probably not going to be able to give everyone Hobbit Dance 4 this time around, but that's okay because life. Darn you, 2020. I actually, for the Academy, I got on late because work. So I got on late to the Academy and found out that everyone else was late too, and they weren't too far ahead of me due to server issues on Arkenstone. So as Terry mentioned, there were problems. So even if I did come and there was only like 30 minutes left, for that 30 minutes, I managed to catch up for the most part to everyone else, and I'll go through and do the rest of it that I need to do so that I am caught up. I believe I did even level up somehow in that time period. And Morkendir went into Narost for a sword, and he came out a trickster. Yeah, it was pretty great. Sneaking around and stabbing things and grabbing this sword and stealing it. Although that's probably going to show up in the chronicles of this burglar because of what the trainer of no small skill basically says at the beginning. It's like, I could do it myself, but you look like you need the practice. No, I don't need the practice. You should be doing this if you're better than me. Lazy hobbit. Anyway. Cinders, how about you?
My day has consisted of attending Weathertop vicariously through Sans, meaning that I've been sitting on the couch next to Sans while she has been at the festival with her headphones off so that I could hear it as well. And I have come to believe that hobbits should get a special skill, kind of like the Bjornings have honey cakes and the man characters have that punch that they can do. But that it should let the hobbits pull out like a stool or a chair that they can stand on so that they can see over the heads of all the taller folks.
Would you like me to get you a box?
Because what I noticed as I was looking over Sam's shoulder at the computer screen is that there were a couple of dwarves and like one or two hobbits down by the stage where the musicians were. And then you had all of these elf and man characters. And then there's this like ring of hobbits on the outside. They're dancing around. They're having a good time. But those hobbits can't see anything. I was like, they should have one of those little auto-bestowed racial traits that you can equip. Where anytime you're in a large crowd with people who are taller than you, you can get out on it and stand and like peer over the top of them. I think that would be great. And you could use it like if you wanted to look over a hedge or something, you could pop it up and look. So
you get the skill sit on shoulders because it's a party. It's a concert. You sit on the shoulders of people who are taller.
Yeah, I also thought it would be really funny if you had like a forced emote, kind of like captains have one. But then I realized that in a concert setting that would just be really rude, but that it would make everybody like in front of you take a knee. But that would not be good concert etiquette. It would be funny, but it would be bad concert etiquette. But hobbits need a way to be able to see.
Why aren't they sitting down?
What?
Why aren't the taller folks sitting down? I remember the first time I was at Weathertop, I was sitting down for most of the concert.
Well, they were all dancing. All the ones that we saw were dancing and clapping and things like that. They weren't intentionally being rude, but all those little hobbits would not have been able to see anything. And then since you guys haven't heard from me for a while, I'm sure this was mentioned last time. I didn't really do anything this week, but I did stuff the week before. Where I went, I think it was the week before, I went barrowbree hunting with Lunori and Gorindis and Terry and Kilbathian and Arindis and Sans. I think that was everybody who was there. We went barrowbree hunting on our characters to see, in preparation for finding out how many barrowbree it would take to kill a level capped character. So there is a science experiment coming soon.
Wouldn't it depend on the class?
It would class is part of
So
it.
we have multiple classes partaking in this experiment.
Okay.
So it's class dependent, it is resistance dependent, and it is stacking dependent. So it would depend on how many you could stack in one go before the first one wears off. And then I finished the Wells of Langflood epic storyline with Kiosaurus. We were running Farrar and M together, and running 2 Guardians at once is quite interesting. We did not kill things quickly, but they did not kill us very quickly either. We survived despite pulling accidentally like 15 at once. Out by I can't even think of the name of it. Old something or other. Yeah, we
Old
were clear
something
out
or
there. The name of the place is like old of the quest is like old something. Yeah, we went all the way out there, but we went up the wrong side of the river. So then we like killed our way up, and then we got the quest and had to kill our way down, and then we had to go all the way back up, and so we decided to just hop on our goats and just ride and let everything chase us, and then fight it when we all got there. And we lagged right into the middle of the fire where there were like 15 mobs already. And yeah, we survived, but by the skin of our teeth. And then we got the quest that said that we were supposed to kill all of the ones we had just killed.
Was that like what, Framsburg, I think?
Yeah. So then we quit for the night. We're like, we're done. This is painful. We'll just leave them standing here on this bridge, and we'll go away, and we'll come back to it, and then we'll kill our way through. But yeah, good times. How about you, Guer? What have you been up to?
Well, I ran around with that group in the Lone Lands on Girl Stream with the StatX champion. I hope that I did a decent job. I was kind of the group's tank, although the Runekeeper kept running ahead. So who knows? Maybe the Runekeeper was actually the tank. I'm not really sure. But yeah, kind of got a little bit of practice in on that, and I might have been the one that mentioned, "Hey, let's go to Midsummer Minas Tirith and jump off the brow." But anyway, my Hobbit Hunter, I've put a turtle stone in. We've been questing out of Lothlorien. I only need about 5,300 rep for ally with the Golden Wood.
Nice.
Once I get Kindred, I'm like, let's go to Murky's. I'm done. But yeah, I am doing that. And of course, on Gorindus, my main, I did perform at Weatherstock this afternoon, which we've already covered a lot of, and it was a really great time. Arindus, what did you get up to?
This week I did a little bit more festivaling. At one point I realized I was somehow about 10 levels over where I was supposed to be in the epic story. I got a little carried away with side quests. Oops. So I took a break from festivaling to get caught up, and I finished Volume 3, Book 4, all of Book 5, and almost all of Book 6. So that's all of the Prince of Rohan area kind of section, and that was an amazing section. Terry's been asking me to do that section for a while, and I finally got around to it. Sorry, Terry. But it was a really great section. I think they did that really well. I also, because of all the side quests that I had been doing before festivaling, I got Kindred with Theoden's Riders and bought Theodred's Riders and bought the horse that you get for that status. I later realized I also hit Kindred with the Men of Dunland, so I got the steed for that as well. Pineleaf, how was your week? Yeah, they are.
For my week, I'll begin with Honor, where my warden finished up questing in the Broadacres, and I finally learned that there are times that merit the purchase of a frivolous emote. I mean,
You talking about the fish slap?
yes, I actually, yes, I had this fish slap that man, I just had to go. So I went and purchased it. Since obviously the spring festival is nowhere near now, so I went, bought the fish slap, and then whacked him. and of course, make sure I got some mileage. Now, I believe it's the episode that I think that I have that's being posted tomorrow morning. I think is the episode that has this with me doing with fish slapping him during the thing in there. It's either today or tomorrow where I'm going to be running in on posting this thing because he. You're familiar with this character I'm talking about, I'm sure, who
Mhm.
with all that he does in there, and I finally decided there's something that I've got to do to this person, and yes, I bought the fish slap emote to do this to him.
Son, you ever been beat to death with a fish?
Yeah, yes. It's because whenever we've gone through everything, we have people coming out and fish lapping all over the place in this. And I'm the only person not doing it because I've never bothered with that emote before. But I finally found the person who deserves it. I said, all right, yes, I could see the appeal of fish lapping, especially this rat.
Come to the dark side, Pineleaf. Fish
Yes.
slap people. Fish slap them. Especially Leland. Every time you go by, slap him with a fish. Just whoosh, get him. And every time you do, think of me.
I could just imagine how much Standing Stone Games makes from this for people who forgot to buy Fish Slap during the Spring Festival and decide, oh, I need to Fish Slap somebody.
At least it's an option. It didn't used to be an option. You couldn't get festival emotes in the store. You had to get them from the festival.
Well, there is
It's like a
that.
public service, really. That
I know. Yeah, it's like, sorry, a regular slap just wouldn't do for that one.
Yeah, Mary
He crossed
Rose. Mary Rose says there's always an NPC somewhere that needs to know the fish slap.
That is too true. That is super, super true.
What did the flounder say to the face? Fish slap!
Well, every time Lobelia says anything to Guerre about not being a good bounder, I just smack her one.
And as for our Tuesday group, in addition to what Terry talked about, we also had trouble getting to Isengard in the first place because
Oh yeah.
yes, our joy in that. We're not too sure exactly what went wrong, but we did the instance as a group, and it seems like that Terry followed, and left the instance which of course took you onto the next thing, and it turned off the ability for anyone else to say the same thing to the NPC. So they had progressed the quest, but didn't give us the ability to actually progress it since we were stuck on the other side still. It was like, what happened there? We don't know what glitched out in that case. So we ran it again, and the next time it ran properly, but I think did we do that solo the next time just to avoid any?
Yeah, we broke up the group.
Yeah, I think we broke up the group, and I had thought though I'd done it in a group before without any issues. So that's the thing that was surprising there. Then for Friday night fights in the 130 group, we ran Fornos, the first three wings, water, earth, and fire. And it was decided to do fast runs. In other words, not the way that Terry likes to do them, because we definitely did not leave a clean dungeon as when we were running these particular runs through there. And that's it for the week in Lotro.
Okay, question
Yes.
there, Pine. Very quickly. Leading up to Isengard, did you guys pick up any evil taters?
No, we left all the evil vegetation on the ground.
Okay, because I was actually running through the Lone Lands today with Mork, and there was like one head of cabbage, and I was tempted to get it because it was the loneliest cabbage in the world. It's a single head of cabbage in the Lone Land is like, you're a lonely cabbage. It's not a lonely mountain; it's a lonely cabbage. So, but it wasn't evil, and so finally I found something that I could pick up that wasn't actually evil, that was edible. So hooray! It wasn't trying to kill me or anything.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure, you guys didn't pick up any evil vegetation or honey or edibles.
All right. Yeah, I think we refrain from doing that.
Okay, good, because we keep on saying do not eat the ancient evil.
And we want to avoid doing that as much as possible.
Yes.
We currently have 14 supporters on Patreon, and if you would like to join this illustrious raid of players and help support LOTRO players, you can go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. The money will be used for our podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. If you would like to support us without joining Patreon, you can send a message to Drac at draclotraplayers.com. The Players Alliance also has an email address, which is podcast@lotraplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance, at Players Ally, Lotro Players, at Lotro Players, Arendis at Arendis, Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needles, Senswinda at Senswinda, Terry Edwin at Terry Edwin, Guarendis at Guarendis, Calabathian at Calabathian, and Cinders at Emeralina. The Players Alliance has 3 shows. On Wednesdays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. On Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. And if you wish to follow XP Quest, please follow at XP Quest on Twitter to know when the show goes live. But I need to warn you that XP Quest is not Piney friendly. You can source our shows at lotraplayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight. And this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to socialize responsibly.